Hi, welcome back to Mel's Health. I'm Mel and it's always lovely to have you here. Today I'm going to focus on the reasons why I have blood clots in my lungs. I'm going to talk about the potential causes for them because no one can ever be 100% sure, but there's definitely things in the world that make people more susceptible to them. Towards the end of this video, I also have a bit of an animated diagram of where my clots are located and why I was deemed a serious case. I'm also going to release another video very soon after this one about something that is on my mind from time to time due to an experience that I had early last year. Whether it has anything to do with my case or not, it's important to discuss, and it's the relationship between COVID and blood clots and COVID pneumonia. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel for more blood clot related content. It's very much appreciated and it helps out my little channel. So things that likely caused my clots are protein S deficiency and the combined oral contraceptive pill. A brief history. I originally went to hospital in May of 2020 with submassive pulmonary embolism and pneumonia. While I was there, I informed the doctors that my dad had had issues with blood clots and was prescribed warfarin for life. After a little FaceTime with my mum, dad and the doctor, they informed him that my dad has a protein S deficiency, which is the reason for his lifelong prescription. This can also be passed on as a hereditary condition. So while I was in hospital, the doctor ordered me to go for some genetic testing, which is basically just bloods to be sent off to see if I had any protein S deficiency in me. So what is this protein S that I keep referring to? It's a naturally occurring anticoagulant found in your blood, so everyone has it. It's important because it stops excess clotting in your blood. If you're deficient in it, or if it doesn't work properly, then you're more likely to produce blood clots in your veins. It is a rare thing and there's not a ton of information out there for the general public. Most things that I've read and watched online have been for medical professionals using a lot of medical jargon, things that I don't necessarily understand a lot of the time. But in an article I read on a rare diseases site, it said that it is extremely rare and therefore it's hard to know what percentage of people have it in a given population. But some studies have kind of come to a number that around 0.3% of people have it. As I said, it's something that you can inherit from a parent. If one of your parents has it, you've got that 50-50 chance. If both your parents have it, you're going to get it. It can also occur naturally though. In women, your protein S levels fall naturally during pregnancy, and it also happens when you take the combined oral contraceptive pill or hormone replacement therapy, HRT, for menopause. There are also medical conditions where it can cause protein S deficiency, like kidney disease. So if any of those are part of your life and you already have a protein S deficiency, then the risk of clotting rises. I've also put some more information on this and some patient information sheets in the description below. But bringing this back to my case, when I had my first in-person appointment at the thrombosis clinic, that would have been about 3 weeks after initially presenting to hospital, my protein S results came back as only ever so slightly deficient. But because they knew I had a family history of clotting and they originally tested me whilst I was in trauma, they wanted me to repeat the test after my body had time to kind of calm down and regulate and then get a true reading more towards the 6-month mark. So I did that around the 6-month mark, and this time it came back as definitely in the deficient range. For the test that I had, the normal result for protein S reading should be around 0.6 and mine was 0.34. So my doctor uttered those words of, "You have a protein S deficiency." So that's that. So why that's important to my case is that if you look at this information sheet I got from Thrombosis Canada, your average Joe on the street has a 1 in 1,000 person per year risk of developing a blood clot, so 0.1% a year. If you have a protein S deficiency, your risk automatically goes up to 5 in 1,000 people per year. So that's a 400% risk increase of 1,000 people per year. Now, if you remember, I just said a few minutes earlier that if you're on the combined oral contraceptive pill, then that increases your risk of clotting due to the naturally falling levels of protein S in your body. I was on the pill for about 17 years up until that day in May 2020 when I was in hospital and they told me I couldn't take it anymore. I'd never had issues with it before. Doctors always knew that I had blood clotting in my family history. I never missed any of my BP checks or my repeat appointments to get a repeat prescription or anything like that, and I've never been denied a pill prescription. But if you look at this sheet, how the risk of clotting goes up if you have a deficiency and you're on the oral contraceptive pill, goes up to 43 in 1,000 women per year will get a clot of some kind with this mix. So I guess I was a bit of a ticking time bomb without knowing, because I had no idea that I had this deficiency or had inherited this deficiency, but I'd unknowingly upped my risk 760%. The risk also goes up with age, so just another joy of being in my 30s. And one final thing that I do like to note is that for a good 16 years of that time, I was on the oral contraceptive pill from the UK. And when I moved to Canada a few years ago, I brought quite a large supply with me just to cover me while I was getting used to the healthcare system over here. But then in 2019, those ran out, and so I switched over to the North American version of my pill. So it's going to be slightly different. But who knows if that could have been a contributing factor as to why I ended up getting clots a year later. I'll just take a moment to discuss the combined oral contraceptive pill. It contains estrogen and progesterone. They are hormones that sustain pregnancy, and when taken in the form of birth control, they mimic pregnancy, therefore preventing it. Estrogen increases the level of blood clotting agents in your blood, so it's known to be responsible for the increased risk of blood clots during pregnancy. But because it's mimicking pregnancy, the increased level of estrogen in the body from taking the pill or HRT puts you at a bit of extra risk. The general risk for just average Joes out there with no other conditions is very, very minimal, which is why it's such a widely popular form of contraception. I believe the statistic is around 1 in 3,000 women per year develop a blood clot on the pill, so that's like 0.03%. And again, I've put some more information around the pill in the description below as well. So to round up this video, I said earlier that when I was at my in-person appointment at Thrombosis, the doctors were discussing not only the causes for my clots, but also where they're located. And they drew me a diagram of where all my clots are in both lungs, just to kind of show me why I was down as a serious case. At the start, when I first saw the diagram, I was quite terrified. But I've kind of gotten used to it now that it's been so long. But here's a little animation of where my clots are located and why I qualify for the submassive pulmonary embolism category. So as you can see, there's only one branch left out of both lungs with no clots in them. And if you've seen my other videos, then you'll know that at the 6-month point, I had another scan which showed that all those clots were still there. So it's something that I'm still dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So when I look kind of fine on the outside, might just seem in general like I'm being a bit lazy or disinterested or a bit unsocial, it's actually because that's what I've got going on hidden inside me. So I can't pretend to be happy and fine all the time. And I actually saw this posted online a little while ago and it screamed out to me because it's so true. So that wraps up today's video on what, where, how, why I have clots in my lungs and what I'm trying to deal with and recover from. I hope it was helpful for anyone out there who's had a clot provoked by the pill, or if you have a clotting deficiency. But please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and look out for the next video coming all around the topic of COVID. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.